With me tonight to discuss, Daily Caller News Foundation editor-in-chief and author of The Art of the Donald, Chris Bedford is back. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
So let's talk about this. Steve Bannon is being a little hysterical. He's saying impeachment happens within 6 weeks. Chris Wallace says there's a 20% chance Republicans are going to get on board and remove the president. How do you feel about those numbers?
Well, I would say that Bannon may be a little closer to the truth than the source that Chris Wallace spoke to.
It's a Republican that you know and love. It is someone that you have seen on a daily basis in your dreams and nightmares.
Maybe Mitt Romney. 20% chance. 20% chance. It sounds a lot more like you would actually need 20 Republican senators in order to vote for impeachment. That doesn't mean that impeachment couldn't get messy if it got to the Senate, and I think it probably will, because I think that Bannon's onto something with Nancy Pelosi is probably going to impeach him. She's got nothing to lose here as far as she's concerned. Democratic polling showing and them basically breaking even in what they say are battleground Democratic states. And you got to keep in mind that the House voted to, or members of the Democratic Party in the House voted to impeach the president for the high crime of making fun of NFL players. They voted to impeach him again for the high crime of making fun of the squad. And now they're going to vote to impeach him for the high crime of this call to Ukraine, which is, I guess, the new Russia in their book. So they're going to go for it. I don't think Mitch McConnell's up for a Senate fight at all, though, because, well, there's no shot the Senate's removing Donald Trump from office, at least as far as I can see, from everything that we've seen. There is a possibility of a long and lengthy trial if some of the more flaky Republican senators demand to see all the evidence played out again in a whole nother Russia 2.0.
So let's say everyone gets sick and tired of the president and Republicans don't want him in for a second term and he's not removed from office. What do they do then?
I think almost most Washington, D.C. Republicans do not like the president. They've been sick of him for years. They certainly don't want him in for a second term. But at this point, they know full and well that their future is tied to his, because the Republican base like him a whole lot more than they like almost any of those Republican senators. And you can see that when you see him pull out and give endorsements or refuse to give endorsements.
Well, then what's the tipping point? Because Lindsey Graham says, yeah, if there's a crime, I would seriously consider a vote to remove him from office. But when do you reach critical mass there? Is it with Republican voters who have been very loyal to the president in those battleground states? Or at some point, do you just cut your losses and go with Mike Pence or Nikki Haley?
I don't see it happening. You saw it happen with Richard Nixon almost when Barry Goldwater in Arizona said that it looked like he was going to turn on Richard Nixon. But back then, the mood in the country was very different, and Nixon had been caught in lie after lie after lie after lie to the American people over something that he probably shouldn't have lied about in the first place. And that's when he lost support amongst Republicans. But part of that was that the American people didn't support him, and he was starting to lose favor with the U.S. voter. Donald Trump is going to have a very strong constituency no matter what, and the reason for that is the years of Democratic witch hunts that have been pursued over every single minor issue, every single major issue. Remember, before he was even elected, Kennedy, when he sneaked out after his election to a steak dinner, so before he became president, the press got lost in the scrum, and they called that a constitutional crisis, that they weren't allowed to watch him eat steak dinner. This has not ended for one moment.
I know, but he sure can be annoying and distracting.
Well, they don't like his manners either.
No, I understand that, but he does, like, the whole Syria thing. He makes some dumb decisions every once in a while, and they seem to be impulsive and solitary.
I would love to see the U.S. Senate, which is so excited to criticize his Syria decision, declare war to defend Kurdistan against Turkey, because I don't see how their declaration of war after 9/11 to pursue terrorists could possibly pursue to fighting Turkey to establish Kurdistan.
No one's going to establish Kurdistan. There's no doubt about that. But the president, under vast advisement, went in a different direction and is now going to have to go back. And it's the kind of distraction that he and his party don't need. His most ardent fans have a harder and harder time defending. And I think Steve Bannon is right about one thing. They have to get their messaging straight, and they have to lock it up.
I agree with that.
All right, Chris Bedford, thank you very much.
Thank you.